All right, welcome to Shades of Heresy. It's the new channel name. Today we're going to be looking at the Deimos pattern Predator tanks. I do have both the battle tank and support tank kits. I've been using 40k Predators for my games of Heresy so far, and I've just decided that I'm going to make my way towards Christmas, try and get lots of tanks built and airbrush them all, and try and get my Ultramarine army up to scratch. So we bought the support tank, another support tank, and a battle tank. So we've got a few Predators to work on for this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little unboxing of each box. We're going to have a little build. I'm not going to run through like cutting all the bits off the sprues, gluing everything together, but I will sort of run through some of the stages that we cover. And then the main part for me is that I am going to magnetize the main guns, and I am going to magnetize the sponson guns on all three. I'm going to try and make them all interchangeable. I haven't looked at the kit before at all until this point, so I don't know how we're going to do that. Let's discover together how that works. So yeah, welcome to the Predators. Oh, I'm excited. Let's go. So quick note on the tools that we're going to be using today. If I just push these to one side, let's put them on my knee. A knife, another knife. These are my clippers. Wait, they're down here. These ones, super fine single-bladed nippers by Dispear. Very good, I have to say. Much better than my sort of cheaper clippers that I've had over the years. So yeah, I really like these. And a Dremel with a very small drill attachment on the end. Oh, it's plugged in. So yeah, that's what we're going to be using. I've obviously got super glue and plastic glue, and then if I just move this slightly, you can see on the end of the table the magnets, the various sizes. When I've figured out what I'll be using, I will tell you. But as I say, I haven't looked at the kit before, so this is going to be a little discovery mission for me as well. Let's get the boxes open. Let's move all that out of the way. So we'll start with the battle tank. I think I've got one of these. So yeah, this is the box. Boom. Throw that over there. So we've got the standard sort of gun sprue. Now I have got spare gun sprues from my other weapons. I very rarely do pintle guns on Predators, so I'll probably save this for my Rhino project. So it looks like on here we've got the Predator cannon, graviton cannon, and las. Well, it says on the box it comes with a Volkite, so is that the Volkite here? Yeah, it looks like the Volkite here. So did you get the 4 weapons options then? Interesting. All right, so that's the weapons. Cool. And then, so this is the extra Predator turret top part, I guess. Another gun kit, but this one looks like mainly sponson weapons. So what have we got on sponsons? Volkites, flamers and lasers. Yeah. And then this does look like a different kit to the Rhino. There are some differences here. So the Scorpius that we did in my last video, there are a few small differences by the looks of it. And then your instructions and the fucking useless transfers that nobody wants. All right, not too bad, pretty standard. Looks very similar to the Scorpius. I am going to be building 3 together, so yeah, I'll be back in a few hours when I finish clipping. So we need to look at the support tank as well. So here's the support tank, similar sort of turret, exact same piece. The standard gun kit that you get with all tanks, it seems, with like turrets and stuff. or sponson mounts, I should say. What have we got here? So again, lasses, heavy bolters. Let me pick up the box again. So heavy bolters, fold kites and lasers on the side, I think, and then flame storm cannon on the top, which is going to be this one, and then plasma. It's got to be plasma, right? Plasma destroyer. And then everyone's favourite, this is what I want, the Magna Melter. So yeah, this is just a super gun. And actually, I think it might have the conversion beam on here as well. That's conversion beam, right? So conversion beam, plasma, Magna Melter, and Flamestorm. So there's 4 on each. All right, so there's 4 heavy weapons on each. Interesting. Magnetizing could be fun. And then this looks like the same standard Predator sprue. So what we're going to do is I'm going to build the chassis for the 3 tanks first, I think. And then once we've got that down, we're going to move on to the weapons and magnetizing. And so it begins. Chassis first. I'm just going to nip down to this end of the desk for a second. So this is the first of the Predators cut out, the pieces laid out. This is mainly the chassis parts, or all the chassis parts basically. Gun's still on sprue. I've realised there's a lot of parts, so what I'm actually going to do is build 1 tank and then cut the next one out, build the second tank, cut the third one out, build the third tank, and get the 3 chassis done before I move on to the guns and the magnetization. A couple of quick notes. It does have the side sponsons the same as the Land Raiders. I've got a few of those already, so I have already seen these. They do tend to fit quite tightly, and my policy is don't. I know it doesn't sound like it, but don't magnetize unless you have to. So because they've done this like this, I'm not going to magnetize this part here. I'm going to leave those there, but I am going to magnetize each of the sponson weapons. And another note is that this is the top of the tank. So there's no rhino top and then the part on top like there was on the Scorpius. Now, because of that, what I'm probably going to do is put cardboard under here so that I've got a place to put my magnet. I like the turrets to be fixed and magnetized in place. So although the turret sits on here and will turn, I like to have a magnet in the middle. It'll turn it, and I always put a thick piece of cardboard here to fix, to magnetize that turret too. So what I normally do is green stuff it and put a magnet in there. I'll probably do the same on this tank. I did do that on my Scorpius, which was my last video last week. So yeah, so we're gonna cardboard there and not magnetize here. I better get cleaning some sprues up. All right, well, I figured out one bit, and that is how to get the door to work. So I've shaved it down, and then what I've done is took my knife and just shaved the pole, to make it a bit thinner, so it's a bit smoother. I have dry fit, and it looks pretty good. I'm just going to go for it on the base, I think. There's a tiny bit of a gap in the middle on each side, but hey, what can you do? I want to get on with it. And there we go, success. So yeah, the back door is pretty spot on actually. So yeah, really happy with that. Good, good. All right, so after a few hours of fiddling and finally making progress, as per with the Whirlwind, I have put a little bit of grill on here just to give a bit of grill there on the front plate, which I haven't put on yet. I think the problem I'm having is that one of these large plastic side parts is quite warped, so it's like curved out at both ends. So as I've been gluing it, I've been using elastic bands to keep it tight. You should always have elastic bands and clamps when you're building a tank like this, because there'll be little bits that won't glue right. So when you glue it, obviously do elastic band it. This was just coming out at the front here, so I've just held that around there. I'll leave it for about half an hour, 20 minutes for the plastic glue to set. But otherwise, that's the first chassis nearly done. So not too bad. Took me about 4 hours though, so I'll be here all day. I've got 3 of them to build. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3. Predators incoming. All right, so that's the 3 chassis finished. Obviously, I've put carbon on all these, so I'm going to magnetize the turrets. Even managed to get the back doors working properly. Oi, oi. So, yeah, onto the... What are we going to do next? The turrets? Or... No, I think we're going to do the sponsons next. So, sponsons, and hopefully the magnetization part of that coming up next. All right, so I took off 2 lasers for each side. I built the small gun sort of holders or whatever for each side as well. We've taken off these little bits here that normally fit through the holes and into the gun. And we've cut off these bits here that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. But the good news is this looks really easy to magnetize. I've got these 3B1mm magnets. They literally fit tightly in this hole perfectly. So, and I think they also fit in here perfectly. Yeah, so they actually fit in everything already. Oh, I'll get that one out. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this here, glue it to here. We're going to cut this one and glue it to here. We're going to put 2 magnets in there, 2 magnets in the gun, and have it suspended in between the magnets. Should be pretty straightforward. Should be pretty easy looking at it. So, that's good news. That's good news. Let's go. All right, so a little change of heart. You notice the guns have these little bits at the back that sort of glue into the peg that rotates the middle, which if I magnetize, I'll lose the little bit at the back. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to, let's have a look. We're going to cut this bottom peg off at the bottom. We're going to drill a magnet into the peg as well. I'm going to use the pegs that came with the las for the las only, I think. Yeah. So what's going to happen is this peg and the las is going to be one part. There's going to be a magnet in the bottom. Get in there. There's going to be a magnet in the middle, and there's going to be a magnet in the gun, and then another magnet in the gun, and then a magnet in the top part. This will be glued onto the top part because there's no way around doing that. So what will happen is I'll have this as it is. This won't rotate, but the gun and the cable will rotate with it. I'll use the spare Volkite peg for the heavy bolter and glue it in the same way. That way I get the little back cable on the heavy bolter, and because the Volkite hasn't got a back cable, it'll just be easy to magnetize. We're going to skip the flamers completely because nobody uses them anyway. So we're going to do las with the peg, glue that as one unit, heavy bolter with the spare peg, glue that as one unit, and then the Volkite on its own. And we should have those 3 weapon options. I'm going to do that now using 3mm by 1mm magnets for this. So yeah, there's quite a few needed. I mean, each gun is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 5, and then a couple more. You're probably going to need like 10 to 12 per side sponson. So per Predator, you're looking at about 25 small magnets, I guess, for the 3 weapons options. So I'm going to need 75, and I've got about 15. So I'm going to go and order some more. All right, let's take a look at the sponson because we've finished it. Pretty happy with the end result. This is our sponson mount. I've glued this firmly to the top so it does not vibrate. It doesn't rotate. There's a 3B1 magnet in here and then a 3B1 magnet in here. This is the heavy bolter, first of all. So that just slots in like that. I have chopped off the back ammo feed. It's a small price to pay at the end of the day. And I've used the spare bottom to give myself a bottom there. So That's the heavy bolter. Pretty happy with that. If we change the Volkite, we can leave the bottom in place as is. And then the Volkite just slots in the same way, like this. It's got its own ammo feed. We've still got the little bit on the bottom. If you notice here, I've actually drilled through from this side. And again, 3B1 mil magnets. I think I put 2 in there just because it filled the gap nicely. And obviously the guns have got 3B1s in here and 3B1s in here. So that makes like a full stack of magnets effectively. For the gun, to fit the las, we take off both these bits. And I'm just gluing this. So I've used plastic glue here. I've got a piece of cardboard in here to keep it apart, but this just slides into there like that and fits in place nicely, and actually means that the cable is still visible at the back as well and still part of the model. So that's us done. 1 down, 5 to go. I need some more magnets, so that'll be done another day. All right, so I've cracked this bit. What we've done here is this is the part that goes into the turret, and I've cut off most of this part. All right, so I've cut this off and smoothed the surface over nicely, but I've left a little bobble at the top. The reason for that is that bobble fits in the little slot there to keep it in place. Okay, I've put a big old magnet in here at the back. I've actually used one that's too thick, so try and find a square magnet that'll fit in there. It's something like, where are we at? It is, this one's like 9 mil by 4, so 8 by 4 mil. And then if you can get one that's like 2 mil thick, so 8 mil by 4 mil by 2 mil, square magnet in the back of here. And then on this side, I've actually got these tiny like little strip magnets. They're 10 by 2 by 1, I think they are. And I've stuck that in the little crevice. And now what you find is that this fits very snugly on there, and it actually pulls this little tab onto it. Now, I have been trying. I didn't realize that the same body is for the plasma and the Magnemelter. And I was trying to get a magnet to come through here. I managed it on the plasma, but the Magnemelter wasn't sticking. And the Magnemelter is by far the better weapon. Strength 7 large blast, I'm not too bothered about. I've been at it for hours. I've given up, guys. This kit is a nightmare. So the plasma can fuck right off. I'm going to glue the Magnemelter to here, and then I'm going to get onto the other weapons and just magnetize them through to here. So that should be pretty straightforward because they've all got their own cowl. So yeah, fortunately I'm magnetizing, but I'm not doing the plasma. So yeah, we've given up on that one. Next step for me is I've just stuck this in a piece of cardboard, drawn around it, and I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to stick it to the top of here, and this is going to be my base to magnetize to the, so I can magnetize the turret to the chassis. All right, so we've glued this onto here, and now what I'm going to do is I've also cut out a little circle, and you see there's a little ridge in here, so I've cut out a little circle that's going to fit just in that hole. I'm going to glue that to the ridge, and this is going to be my base for the magnet for the top turret, because I am going to put the flat base on, but I want to give myself options in the future to maybe put a pintle weapon on or even a Decuri on and magnetize the guy on top. So I'm going to be magnetizing the top hatch with this basically. All right, so finally I've managed to get a turret on this damn Predator. So we've got the magnet here to go onto here. This is my rotation of my turret, and it keeps it firm and in place. We've got the magnet behind here. It does move a little bit. I use too big a magnet, but hey ho. And then this goes on the front, so that's this bit. All right, so that's fine, and it's a good firm hold as well, like, right? So good firm hold. I've got the magnet at the top here and the magnet inside here. That's for the lid, like this. That's just so that in future I've got the option if I want it. And then this goes on here like this. So finally, one magnetized Predator. The sponsons are done. This is done. This is done. And this is done. 1 down. It only took me all weekend. 2 to go. I hope it's been some help. It's a very tough kit to magnetize, if I'm absolutely honest. And I have given up on putting the plasma on it, if I'm absolutely honest, because it used the same housing as this one. The other 3 guns should be fine. So this is the beam thing. Oh God, the conversion beamer, thank God. And then this one should be easy to fit on now that I've got the magnet in place. I'm not going to do the other 2, but hey ho, we've got our tank. It is magnetized in the way I want it as well. I have to say, like, there are some bits you don't need to do. This top turret, most people probably don't care, so don't do it. And obviously the main turret, most people probably don't care, but for me, I really like the turrets on tanks to be solid. If we look at the whirlwind I did in my last video, the turret here is very, very solid. Like this, I like them to be firm. Just gives the tank a more sturdy feel. So that's us done. Predator magnetized, 1 down, 2 to go. So quick look at the other weapons options. Obviously we did the Magnum Melter previously. This is the neutron ray, is it? Neutron blaster, something like that. I have used a bit of green stuff here and just filled up the space inside, put a little square magnet in there. And because of our little bump that we left on here, this just sits nicely on the bump. This is the conversion beamer. Again, because the little bump, we've green stuffed it in and put a little magnet in the middle. You want to get it as central as you can, obviously. And again, because that little bump, it just nicely sits on there. So yeah, so that's the 3 main gun options. Oh man, I'm really happy. So I just had a little brainwave. I was like, wait a minute, the Flamestorm cannon's got a cowl, right? So what I've actually managed to do is, this is the cowl from the Flamestorm cannon, which I'm never going to use, right? The plasma's much more useful. So I trimmed down the plasma on the sides here. I just carved it out because it didn't quite fit in. And I've glued the plasma into the cowling from the Flamestorm. So I'm going to get the Magnum Melter, the plasma, the conversion beam, and the neutron blaster. And the only one I'm missing is the flamer, which I don't care about. So that's how you should do it. Use the flamer cowling for the plasma. Just carve it down a little bit. And I've just stuck that in there. It actually looks pretty cool. It's pretty straight as well. And then just like the others, I can get a magnet in here. It's got a little square peg, a little peg place for fitting on here nicely. There it is. So yeah, so I'm just going to get a magnet in there and we're away. So I am happy. So yeah, Flamestorm cannon, get rid of it. Glue the plasma in instead. Bonus. All 4, well, the 4 main weapons that I wanted magnetized. Super, super, super. So just sort of closing statement on the Predator. It is a tough one. There's a few compromises you're going to have to make along the way. The main ones being here that I've glued the light so it doesn't rotate with the gun, and here the back box. Just use any of them because it really doesn't make that much difference. Who's going to notice? I've also done away with the Flamestorm cannon, so I'm sure I could have found a solution, but honestly, it's just not something I use. Certainly not on a Predator anyway. So we have got the plasma, the conversion beamer, graviton, oops, like that, and the Magnum Melter. This is the really important bit to note here. This little nub, leave a nub on here. It's doing all the work for you, keeping the main guns on. But otherwise, yeah, I hope that's some help. In future, we've also got this, if we want to put the Decurion on or add a pintle weapon. Got it right this time. So yeah, good luck with the magnetization. If you need any help or questions, just ask down there. Thank you. Oh, just a quick note. If you've made it this far, then it must be useful, right? Please subscribe. It makes a huge difference to me. I'm going to try and build the channel, try and come out with more interesting videos, try and get better at editing and stuff like that. So help a brother out, and yeah, please subscribe. Thank you. Shades of Heresy out.